Alrighty, mic check. Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2. Okay. Let me. That's working. That's working. That's not working. There's that. All right. Well, now it says it's working. Alrighty. Let's see if that will start to work. All right, it's working over here. It's working there, but not here. So let's see what's going on with it. Oh well. Yeah, maybe it's just acting stupid. So, all right. Do I have a guest? No, I do not have a guest today. It's just gonna be me. So, it's waiting for a few more people to come in. I still don't know why in the world change your name to sometimes tech guy. um, okay. So, yeah, and I still don't know why that's not working. I'm trying to figure out why the chat box is not working correctly. Hmm. Well, yeah, hold on. Let me put this in the oven. I'll come right back and we'll start. All right. Well, it's just gonna act up today, I guess. All right. Yeah, I have no idea why that's not working. So let me switch scenes and then try it. The event list is working. The viewer count's working. Yeah, you all's chat's not coming through on my Streamlab OBS. So, but all right then. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get started here. So, actually, I'll be able to just bring that on the whole screen. So let me do that since the chat's not. Um, Well, there's the first one. But again, guys, and so all right. So shout out to everybody that's here. Shout out to everybody that's going to come later on. Um, so now I'm starting to see some things show up. Okay, so um, so yeah. But all right then, guys. So what is happening there? Sam Ash, U Hero, Hump, Hanma, G Hole, Mr. Deception, Uncompetitive. What's going on? Terrace is great. E1 Matador. What's happening? What's happening? So yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to say this. I want to give a shout out to another YouTuber. And it is well, I just want to give him a shout out. He does the ride alongs. I don't want to say his name. I don't because again he's a cool dude. I want to make sure that I stay cool with him. But Oh, hold on. One more thing. One more thing. All righty. All right. There we go. There we go. I want to turn that down. So hopefully it sounds good. Hopefully the mic sounds good. I did my mic check 1 2 1 2. So about what monitor? So oh, the one that's on Amazon. I'll look at it real quick. Yeah, there you go. And Amazon's about the only place you can go get stuff now. So that's crazy. Um, yeah, says you save 28 bucks. Now you may want to try HP's website because they may match that. This is if you want to try HP's website, and they may match that. That's all I'm trying to say. So shout out to the people that are here. What's going on? SMGO, what's happening? Quanvo, how you doing? Good monitor though. Good monitor. I'm not gonna knock it. Shout out to you for buying one. So yeah, I got my new monitor December 8th. I think it was December 18th, I think. And yes, I got a Samsung monitor, 23 by 23.9 inch, pretty much 24 inches, 1080p. So yeah, good monitor, good monitor. Paul G, what's happening? All right, but yeah. So everybody knows, but shout out to this YouTuber, and he made a very good point today. He made 2 points, and or one very good point, which is, and I'm just gonna start off with it. Um, guys, look, the Series X is more powerful than the PS5, and there are people who look stupid arguing over which one is more powerful. Now, and again, and I agree with him. It does look like the whole ESRAM thing with the Xbox One earlier in the generation, and just it is that again, you don't argue with these people. I'll get into that later, but it does look silly, and I'm just letting people know he's right. And I am letting people know right now it does look silly that you have a group of people who are arguing over it. The Sony's PlayStation 5 is fast. I mean, it is speed. It's based on efficiency. What's going on, Mr. Rogers? It's based on efficiency. It's there's nothing. Um, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You're going to be able to get your information, go very fast with it. It does have higher clock speeds. Blah blah blah. We know all that. This is not about that. And but at the end of the day, even though the PS5 is faster, this goes into something that I said months ago that they can take the same information that you're getting and they're going to just interpret it, 180. So they think that when you say the PS5 is faster, that you're trying to say the PS5 is more powerful, and even though that's not what people are doing. No, it's faster. It would be like if I go and buy the 2700X versus having the 2600 X that I have right now. The 2700X is a faster CPU. It's going to process things faster. It's going to be more efficient. It's going to give me better performance in what I do. And but they look at that, they take it, and they extrapolate. You're trying to say it's more powerful. No, it's got a higher clock frequency, so it can do things faster. And so, well, again, but it's hard to know what they optimize until we get some real world testing. So that's why I'm just kind of like whatever. So, you thought we ended the spec nonsense? Who cares? Well, again, at the end of the day, that's why you got to not argue with them. But I'm going to tell you why. And it is because they actually do believe their own lies. They believe them, and where this is coming from is they don't want a repeat of this generation, next generation, if you understand what I'm saying. They don't want the imbalance to happen, so they are willing to lie in order to make that not happen. Whether it's all the stuff that was happening at Naughty Dog, they lied about that again because they're trying to say they're going to they're going to do whatever they have to do and say in order to slow what Sony has done to them being Microsoft this generation. Now, Sony showing what they showed on that tech dive with Mark Cerny did not help themselves. Okay, let me make that clear. They did not help themselves. Mark Cerny, again, is not the person out there to be saying that stuff. Now, I understand that there is a difference in selling to a developer and selling it to a consumer. Okay, you sell your designs and stuff to an engineer. You sell what the design can do to the consumer. People who watch this, they were billing it as this is Sony's rollout of the console, and it wasn't. It was just him giving a technical analysis on what they're shooting for with the console. So, and it's getting positive feedback from developers, whether they're indie or first party and third party developers. They're talking about it. They're excited about it. Okay, fair enough. But again, you don't argue with people who believe their own lies. And this group of people, they actually believe their own lies. So, and when Mark Cerny came out in April in the Wired magazine article last year, almost a year ago, or maybe it was May. Even though Mark Cerny said, yeah, we're targeting 4K and 8K and 120 frames per second in some cases, so forth and so on, that they immediately said he's lying. They're not going to do that. Again, because they don't want Xbox to get left behind. They just don't want them to. So they will say, well, they're lying. They're not telling the truth. That's stuff like that. So they are going to conflate and exaggerate everything that they can, and they are terrified. They were terrified because I remember listening to like the multiplayer podcast and things like that. They were specifically saying if the PlayStation 5 is more powerful than the Xbox, and Xbox is dead in the water. They came out and said it. Now I don't subscribe to that. I didn't subscribe to it then. I don't subscribe to it now. But that's what they were afraid of. Now, why are they so hung up on power? Let's talk about that right now. Okay. I did this yesterday on Twitter. I don't know how many of you all follow me on Twitter. So I introduced a control, which was stuff that I was saying, just to see what kind of reaction I was going to get. And man, they took the bait immediately. So if you all don't know, according to Zaddy, which I did leave the link in the description, okay? According to Zaddy, they did a breakdown of Resident Evil 3. Okay, they did a breakdown of Resident Evil 3. And according to Zaddy, the Resident Evil 3 demo is performing better on the PlayStation Pro than it is the Xbox One X. That's a fact, okay? So I put out there, well, it doesn't matter at this point that Xbox X is more powerful. The Pro is outperforming it, So, and instead of them just saying, yeah, you know what, it is outperforming it. Shout out to Capcom for blah, 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 whatever. And then it's moving on. They started to argue. It became about the developer being lazy. It came down to, well, the resolution is better on the Xbox X. And again, they could never come out and say, I'm talking to people on Twitter, they could never come out and say, yeah, it performs better on the PlayStation. They can't, they won't accept it. And they move immediately to resolution. So the reason they're doing that, and I proved it yesterday, if you follow me on Twitter, I have no idea how to bring the tweets up. I do apologize on StreamYard. That's fine. The reason why I believe they're like this is because when Microsoft decided to take exclusivity out of their catalog, they don't have any more exclusives. It then became about multi-plat games that everybody can play. You know, that's the girl that everybody gets to try, gets a chance with. You know, so that's all they have left to talk about. Though they can't talk about an exclusive game because even if they have a game that comes out only on that console, it will be on somewhere else to play, whether it'll be on PC. Okay, it will be on PC, which is another platform. But they try to come out, oh, it's a console exclusive. All right, you know, it's just like I said, they take the information instead of just saying, yeah, we have no exclusives. So they are wholly dependent on exclusive, I'm sorry, wholly dependent on the multiplats. So they have to have a selling point for them, and for them, it's power. This is why they took it so hard when Red Dead Redemption 2 lost to God of War. Because Red Dead Redemption 2 was by a third party developer that went balls to the wall for the Xbox One X. And in spite of that happening, they still lost, again, subjective award, they still lost to an exclusive PlayStation game. That's it. It was over at that point. So even though there's living proof in the world that the exclusives are much more important to a platform, especially a console, to anything else. I mean, Netflix is a platform that has exclusive content. If I want to watch The Witcher, I have to have Netflix. All right, Hulu has exclusive content. If I want to watch Cloak and Dagger, I need to have Hulu. Okay, Hulu's a different platform. Amazon Prime or Amazon Video, whatever you want to call it, streaming, they have exclusive content. If I want to watch Jack Ryan, I can't watch that anywhere else. So all they have left is the power narrative. You know, they don't care that PlayStation is faster based on the specs. It's more efficient, again, based on the specs. It's about power for them. And it's because they don't have any exclusive games for that system. Okay? This is the stuff they were saying. You know, they immediately say, well, what's the resolution? They immediately say, well, what's going to be? I'll just see if I can pull up my Twitter here. There's some of the things that some of these guys are saying. Um, let's see here. Um, let's see if I can find this here. Um, now, I mean, I agree with this one guy. I mean, even Zaddy came on and made a statement about how people are taking what they're saying on Twitter. They're taking it wrong. So let's see here. Okay, see if I can. Let's see here. Um, so Kid Smooth, he says, so the expert, he has my name, believes PS5 will run games better than Xbox Series X. If you ask him why, he will only show PS4 Pro and Xbox One X comparisons, where PS4 Pro does better at frames. He'll be completely ignoring that PS5 are different consoles. And again, I did not ignore that. So I said, yes, the expert recommends you don't listen to Zaddy's breakdown of Resident Evil 3 demo today. Some other gentleman said the consoles aren't out. Nobody should be hyping anything until they're released. You know, which I did say something back to that. Because I agree with that. So this one guy says, said those games are, this one guy, okay, those games are games in beta. It's like one or two games out of thousands. And again, it's not true. I mean, you know, Ori runs like crap. You know, I'm talking about the new Ori. It runs like crap on that system. So, you know, we can go on and on and on. So, um, you know, but again, they literally believe, you know, so they have to have something that's better on the Xbox. This is why Xbox was going to have RDNA 2 and Sony was only going to have RDNA 1. I don't know if you all remember that. There's a reason why they were saying that. Then it was, oh, well, no, Sony's going to have RDNA 1.5, which even though that doesn't exist, there's no such thing as RDNA 1.5. I am a big AMD fanboy. And again, there's no such thing as RDNA 1.5. So and so now we know. And so now I want you all to ask yourselves a question. So um, last week, um, not last week, a few weeks ago, AMD has they disclosed their their meeting, their financial disclosure meeting. Even though AMD says that RDNA 2 is going to be powering next generation consoles, blah blah blah, they said that guy was lying. So they said that an AMD executive was lying. They didn't believe him. He's not telling the truth. He's talking about the Lockhart. They didn't specifically say it was going to happen. Blah blah blah. Now the truth comes out, you know, and the truth comes out. It does have RDNA 2. So even though, but my point to you is that look, if they're willing to call an executive officer of the company that's making the consoles, if they're willing to call him a liar, they're willing to lie about everything. Okay, they'll lie about anything. So, and again, it's sad that this is who they are. So they believe that multi-plat games are the most important thing out there. And what I am going to say to you all is you guys are the way Sony and Nintendo puts their games out. Sony and Nintendo both believe that exclusivity is more important than multiplats. Okay, it's not that you can't go get a multiplat game on a Nintendo Switch. You can. You can. All right, but it's not a priority. Nintendo's not going to change everything up to put that game on there. It's like, yeah, here it is. If you all can code for it and get your game to work and you're satisfied with it, put it out. It's secondary to Nintendo. Nintendo's going to concentrate on the Marios and the Kirby's and all that kind of stuff. That stuff that they do exclusively for their platform. It's the same with Sony. If Naughty Dog and Gorilla and Sucker Punch and Insomniac and Japan Studio, they're all their studios come back to them and say, yes, here's what we want so that we can code and start getting going. Okay, the answer to that is that's what they're going to do. It is Microsoft. It is Microsoft that is hell bent. They are embodied. They are beholden to third party developers because their first party developers are just not that good. Okay. I mean, you can make the argument on it's not that they're not working hard. Of course, they're working hard, but they're just not as good. Their games this generation have been lacking. I mean, anytime they do Sea of Thieves, which I played, I thought was horrible. They've got that going on. I played that other one that came out. State of Decay 2, again, trash. All people kept talking about was this guy permadeath, this guy permadeath. But if you died, you created another character. It's not like you died and then you were dead. You can't go play the game. They were like, oh, we got to keep you off the game for a month, because your character died. So yeah, hit that like button, people, and share. So at the end of the day, what are we working with here? You're looking at the fact that you have two different types of people consuming the same or similar media. Okay, so the Nintendo guy and the PlayStation guy, they're kind of one and the same. They both understand that you need exclusive content, and they play on their Nintendos for the exclusive games. The PlayStation folk play on the PlayStation for the exclusive games first, and then the third party games, the Maddens, the all these games. Not that you don't play them, Madden, FIFA, all that kind of stuff. Microsoft doesn't have that. Their fans don't have that. So when you buy into their ecosystem, the only thing they're worried about is the multi-plat games, and they want the absolute best version of those games on that console because that's the only selling point. That's it. The selling point is that. Oh look, this game looks better on the Xbox, therefore you should go out and get the Xbox. Because they think that's what's important. That's what they truly think, okay? And this is what I found out. This is what I found out over the last, say, 17 hours on Twitter. They truly do believe that The only thing that matters are multi-plat games, and I'm saying it again, and that they need to have the best version of those games. Even so, if they feel something is threatening that, they're going to lie about it, okay? Because again, they don't want a repeat of last generation. Now again, they've got games coming out. Grounded's coming out. They're not talking about it. Bleeding Edge is coming out. Again, they're not talking about it. They've already punched out, whatever you want to call it. They've already hit the clock for this generation. They've already hit the clock. They're done with it. They want it to be over. Again, all this was proven yesterday. Okay? All this was proven yesterday. And so this is just who they are this is who they are as gamers. This is why they now say, again, the Xbox had plenty of exclusives in 2013, 2014. But now exclusives are anti-consumer. Why? Because they don't have any. So they're going to tear it down. Spider-Man comes out. They didn't care that they did not care that Sean Layton had said multiple times it will be an exclusive on the PlayStation platform. They didn't care. It was, I have an Xbox. I want to play that game. That game will be on Xbox. It did not matter what you put out in front of them. Okay? It didn't matter to them. It was no. And then when it came out that, yeah, Sony's publishing it to their own platform, they got mad as hell. We saw the tweets. You saw the tweets. They were mad as hell. Okay? And so you go with the fact that, look at, if they start developing game, if Sony starts, again, they're not worried about, it's all, you say, well, people are happy, devs are excited about Sony's technical specs and things like that. They will immediately cut you off and say, well, yeah, their first party developers are, but the third party developers, they're scratching their heads. And here's what they're afraid of. So let's get into what they're really afraid of. If Sony's developers, first party developers, start making games for the SSD, they're going to have issues putting them on Xbox. Okay, the one game that I have been told to watch out for is MLB The Show. Okay, because MLB The Show is still being made by a Sony first party studio, but there's a very good chance that in 2023 that game is done only for SSD. Kind of like Star Citizen. The person who does Star Citizen, that company, the president of that company, he has said multiple times the reason why it can't be on console is because it's developed based on SSD. And if Sony moves to that, what are they going to do? Tell Sony, I forgot, is it Sony San Diego? Are they going to tell Sony San Diego not to make the baseball game for SSD so it can continue being multi-plat? I don't know how that would work, but I was told today that could happen. They could say, well, we're going to make it a few years, but then it's only going to be on PC and PlayStation. So, and again, this is about people were saying that, well, because the SSD is faster, it makes it more powerful. No, it makes the performance better. Okay, if I have a 1080 Ti and Melon Matt 93 has a 1080 Ti, and I put my 1080 Ti on a Ryzen 1500X chip, and I start playing, I don't know, Assassin's Creed Origins on it, all right, and then let's say that's my setup, and Melon Matt said it has a 1080 Ti, but he has a Ryzen 1800. He has an 1800X, it's going to perform better on his system because his system has a higher clock speed with that CPU. So when you see them say, well, Xbox has a 3.8 SM, it has a 3.8 clock speed. Yes, that's without the SMT. But when you have SMT, what does Xbox? It throttles down to 3.6 according to their own spec sheet. Now, that could change. Let me make that clear. That could change. But do you really think there's a difference in 3.6 and 3.5? No, there's not. I mean, trust me, there's not. I mean, you're looking at minimum differences. You also have the fact that even that Xbox has a more powerful GPU, but it's clocked slower. Sony does have a weaker GPU. It is. It's overall it's weaker, but they have a higher clock on theirs. So again, and I'm just that's the truth. That's why I'm not doing this whole comparison thing. The Xbox raw power, Sony can't touch that raw power. Where Sony made up for it is their clock speeds. Again, and this is why I left the link to NX Gamer in the description. Okay, because it's just better you hear it from him because they'll say that y'all I'm damage controlling and stuff like that. No, there's nothing to damage control. It is what it is. So how does this play out? Well, because Xbox has nothing exclusive to push it, their fan base needs third-party developers to do that for them. And because they need third-party to do it for them, they want the third party to go out of their way for them. And they'll say, well, look, we got more power, therefore they're going to go out of their way for them. Well, okay, did they do that for the Resident Evil game? Did they do that for the Warzone game? Did they do that for multiple other games that have come out that are running better on the PlayStation? I mean, how many games that are out there perform better on the PlayStation? I mean, and then here comes the excuses. It's lazy devs. Oh, they have a deal with they have a deal with Sony. So when Cyberpunk, which I'm not going to buy, everybody knows I'm not buying Cyberpunk. That studio has already said that they're going to support the Series X with a patch. Fair, fine. But they haven't said that for the PlayStation. So let's see if the PlayStation guys say, well, the devs are being lazy. Let's see if the PlayStation people say, well, they have a deal with Microsoft and that's why they're holding it off. It's just, this don't. My advice to you is just don't say anything. This is for the people that are buying it. I mean, I'm not buying it, so it doesn't matter to me. So let's see here. If the third party is not doing it, they bash play no matter what. Well, again, understand it's coming because it's coming from a place of fear. They truly do believe that they really, if they don't have the third party in their pocket, so to speak, developing out of their way for them, they don't have a platform according to them. Now, I disagree with that. Okay, but at the end of the day, it's not me. So does a super fast SSD make up for only having 16 gigabytes of RAM? The SSD is better explained again, Paul G, by NX Gamer. He explained it the best that I've heard. Okay, that I've heard. So just for me, I mean that I've heard. So that's why I'm staying out of that talk because one, we haven't had any real world tests. I don't know what it's going to perform like. I mean, I know what they told us. But I mean, I know what they've told us, so I don't know about the rest of it. So, I heard the Gears developers say that they'll be able to get Gears to run at, maybe 100 frames a second. That's great in theory, but me personally, I got to see that. Okay, I understand that the machine could be capable of doing it, but let's see the machine do it in real time. And it's not that I'm saying that it won't happen. I put words in my mouth. I've sat here a million times and said, hey, look, until we see some kind of performance and see some kind of benchmarking, we won't truly know what it's going to do. So what's up there, social joins? So hyper threading. Oh, I understand that. Yeah, and like I said, it is better for people to listen to it's better to listen to NX Gamer again because he's been doing this for 6 years. He explains it a lot better. So SMD does more work than hyper threading even at a lower clock. Well, again, uncompetitive. You're right. I'm not here to say that you're wrong. You're right, but again, you don't argue with people who believe their own lies. And these people don't believe that. So it's stupid to argue with them. Okay? It just is. I understand that the Sony's going to be able to get 4K 60 on their games. Not on all of them. I am not expecting that. Like Foxy Games said, if you're expecting all these games all of a sudden to be 4K native and all that kind of stuff, we'll have to wait and see if that actually happens. I don't believe it's going to happen, but I'm willing to wait for some real world tests. And that's just me. I mean, I'm old school. I'm old fashioned. I mean, you just can't tell me that the steak tastes good. I got to have a piece of it. So you can't tell me that the movie is really good. I got to go see it. So You know, so it is being it, just for me, it is what it is. So I'm enjoying it. But it did prove my entire Twitter thing yesterday proved that these guys, all they care about is resolution on multi-plat game. All they kept saying was, what's the resolution? What's the resolution? I'm like, dude, you may have great resolution. You may have great resolution on there. But if you have poor performance, people are going to complain. If you don't believe me, you can just look at Ori and the Will of the Wisp. Okay? Ori and the Will of the Wisp is a great looking game. What's the complaint? What is the complaint on Ori from the people that have played it? The performance. It doesn't perform well. Okay? That's just it. That's the truth. But even if you point that out, oh, well, you're damage controlling. It's nothing to damage control if these are the reports coming out in real time from multiple people. So, and not just if it happened to one person, fine. So, Ori and the Will of the Wisp was sadly rushed out again. Didn't they delay that game for 6 months? Wasn't it delayed for 6 months again? Look. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to say the game's terrible. I've never played it, so I'm simply saying that the performance is bad. You can look at Call of Duty Warzone. Call of Duty Warzone runs better on the PlayStation Pro. Okay, it just does. I don't get it. End of story. Not this whole thing. Well, it's a beta. What are you talking about? It still runs better on the PlayStation Pro. Can it be? Can they fix it? Absolutely. They may fix it tonight. Fine, fair enough. Okay, okay, uncompetitive. Fine. They have staff who works from home. It still performs like shit on the Xbox X. I don't know about the PC. So again, I mean, instead of just this is what was happening yesterday online. Instead of them just saying, yeah, it doesn't run very well, it's a beautiful looking game. That's it. I mean, even the guy Grinds My Gears, he was saying he doesn't know if it's because Phil Spencer put 4K on that chip that they're prioritizing 4K. That's what I think happened. I think they are prioritizing 4K, and they are at the and the result of that is they're getting piss poor performances, whereas at Sony is they have a much more balanced look. Okay, these same multi-plat games don't look as good resolution wise, but they perform better. So again, do you want to play your game at 4K with frame rate drops or I can't talk, frame rate drops, or do you want to play your game at at say 1440p, 60 frames a second with locked resolutions and not a whole lot of frame rate issues on your console? This is on your console. You have to make up your own mind. But that's just mine. You said you predict Ghost of Tsushima will be flawless. We'll have to wait and see. Um, Last of Us 2 will have bugs. Yeah, I mean, all games have bugs. But is Last of Us Part 2 going to perform terribly? That's what we're waiting on. We have a sense on what it's going to look like. Okay, we have a sense on what it's going to look like, but we haven't seen it. We haven't seen any performance testing on frame rate. Okay, it looks fluid. The demo looked fluid when they were fighting and stuff like that, and I didn't see a whole lot of issues of pop-ins and stuff like that. But again, we'll have to wait and see. That henceforth real world testing. So, but yeah, I wanted to share that with you guys. I mean, guys, you don't argue with people who believe their own lies. You just don't do it. So, I mean, and I also left another link to another podcast with Enrique with Brad. That's the first one. It's he had a guy on there named Optimus Code, who's I believe he's an actual programmer and developer, and he was making a lot of good points, I thought, and from what I listened to, and again, they're arguing with them. Now, I agree with Enrique. And let me make this clear: there are people who think resolution is the hill to die on, and there's a group of people who think performance is. Now, I am a performance guy. I like resolution, and I would take a 14. I've said it. I will take 1440p high graphic settings at 60 frames a second over 4K 30 at medium settings, or 4K medium settings, graphic settings, and 60 frames a second. Okay, I sat down here and said, look, I'm playing Mass Effect Andromeda, even though that game is straight up garbage. I mean, it is trash. Okay, but it looks great because I've got it on like ultra graphics or high graphics and stuff like that, and I'm playing at a locked 60 frames a second. I don't get to do that on my console. Okay, even though I have higher resolution on my console. Okay, it still doesn't look as good as a resolution is lower, but a higher graphics setting. So, just it is what it is. So again, and that's just me. And again, this is so guys, do not argue with people who believe their own lies. You just say, okay. That's it. Yeah, okay. you know. So I mean, Resident Evil again. That you can look at that yourself. Resident Evil, that demo, which hey, I thought was okay, had Nemesis in it. He said stars. But I was running around just getting, checking out the controllers. I think Digital Foundry said you could do a speed run, do it in like 8 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that. But he said that he is surprised at how bad the Xbox version played. I mean, you all go back and listen to him again and again. I think the resolution on the Xbox is fine, but the performance on the Xbox is piss poor. Okay, and man, that's tough. That's a tough call. Now, I personally believe I'm not here to say that the day the game comes out, they may patch the Xbox One X. I'm not here to say that they won't. They may patch it today. I may wake up tomorrow and then it'd be an article that says it's fixed. It'll be fixed at launch, which is perfectly fine. So, but it doesn't matter if you can eliminate screen tearing and VSS and VRR and HBO, and the game runs better on the Pro. So, so they have since hired junior developers without oversight of experienced managers. Recipe for disaster and delay. Well, I mean, again, the game they're working on now, I don't think will be delayed, but I'm going to move into that because I agree 100% with what this other YouTuber was saying. Look, I'm just going to reiterate the SSD on the PS5, from my understanding, and let me make this clear on my understanding, is it's going to help with performance. So you're going to be able to move around seamlessly. This is what they want. Now we have to see it in real world seamlessly, um, and take whatever you want. As far as you're supposed to be able to do everything in under 1 second. Now, the dev kits that went out, Ubisoft got one, EA got one over a year ago. So they've already been developing on it. So they understand what Sony is wanting to do. Yeah, the hashtag fat pipe, you know. So, which again, which I came up with that. I came up with the fat pipe, so, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So, but and look, we may not be able to go buy it. I don't know because as of right now, um, I don't know where to go buy that game at because GameStop is closed. They said they'll do curbside pickup, but my vehicle is down and out, so I don't have any way to go pick that game up except to go repurchase it at Walmart. Now I'm hoping by is it May? That game comes out in May. By when in May when that game comes out, that this is all over with. So you came up with the fat pipe, okay? With the what now? With the folk? Is that what it says? Oh, with 4K. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the same people that were saying that there was no difference between 720p and 1080p at proper viewing distance made a huge deal at checkerboarding 4K, which at least gives you the same amount of pixels, albeit clone pixels. It's just like I said, guys. You don't argue with people. The new LA Rams logo looks. I haven't seen it yet, so. It took 343 18 months to finish Halo. Okay, well, not a surprise because Halo already has a working story. So, but again, guys, you don't argue with people who believe their own lies. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it anymore. This is a group of people that believe. Now, I pick performance over everything. I pick exclusivity over everything first. There's a group of people that performance doesn't matter, and there's a group of people that exclusivity doesn't matter. I'm going to simply say you cannot force what you think is important on somebody else. And again, they started backing off when I said, look, all you guys have done is proven that you prefer resolution over performance. Period. Period. And they started like, oh yeah, it's just, all of a sudden they start backing off at that point. So yeah, the fat pipe poke, yeah. I don't disagree with you, uncompetitive. So again, I couldn't see a big difference in 900p and 1080p. Like I literally couldn't. I mean, I'm not here to say that there wasn't any differences. I mean, the image in 1080p is always sharper. A native image will always have a sharper, harder look. Again, I mean, Avengers Endgame, it streamed in 4K at 1080, with HDR10 and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't look as good as the physical copy of that same movie. I've watched that movie like 10 times. So yeah. But yeah, guys, I mean, do you all have any questions or anything like that? But if you follow my Twitter thread yesterday, that's what everything was about. Okay? They literally kept walking into the trap of, well, and they finally came out and said, yeah, we do think multiplats are more important. Well, yeah, you guys have proven that. You guys have proven that. You can't run from it now. We know that's what you believe. So it doesn't matter that the Nintendo Switch had no multiplats at launch, and it still outsold the most powerful platform out there. So um, and again, you don't argue with people like that. I am a performance man, okay? I'm a performance man, and I'm a resolution guy last, because I can have the most beautiful looking game, but if it runs like shit, nobody's gonna buy it, right? Doesn't matter how good it looks, okay? So, and that's reality, guys. I'm not, that is a reality. Also, shout out to Foxy Games. He bought himself an Xbox X. And let me make this clear. If Sony is going to have an issue with backwards compatibility on the PS3, which is what Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 are running on, then yeah, I'm going to have a problem. Okay? I'm going to have a problem. I'm not liking that at all. I may go back out and get the Xbox X just to have it on console and be good and just be happy with it. People are like, well, you got it on PC, Hey, yeah, you're right. And I do need to learn. I got to take that next step and learn how to mod my games. So I'm really trying to learn how to do that right now. I've modded one game, the Flight Sim. I've not been able to mod anything else, though. So Switch will have the best exclusive. PS5 may be a close second. Well, again, that's fine. That's fine. This is not about the PS5 and the Switch as much as it's about. Guys, let me make this clear. If you're in the PlayStation community, you actually have more in common game-wise, okay? The way you select games, you have more in common with the Nintendo community than you do the Xbox community. Because the Xbox community is all about third-party games and making sure they have the best looking versions of that, okay? Not the best performing versions, the best looking versions. So, what first PS5 exclusives are you expecting or looking forward to? Very good question. The one I'm looking forward to the most is Horizon Zero Dawn Part 2. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most. But and shout out to the YouTuber I was listening to who's doing that ride along. There's a chance you may not be able to get one of these consoles, okay, at launch. So Jiho says Gran Turismo. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, with full VR integration. Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope that's. Yeah, and see, at this point, how we're talking games and stuff like that, that's what I'm all about, is talking about the games that are coming out. Now, I'm not going to get an Xbox because when I saw them with Grounded and Battletoads, and I'm not, that's fine if you want to play that kind of stuff. I can't do it. I'm like that. I don't know if you all saw that white girl on Facebook, straight up millennial, Generation Z, talking about that she's so into black guys that she can't date white guys. And literally she just sits up there and says, I can't do it. I mean, and that's the way I am with the Xbox. When I saw Grounded and I saw and I saw Battletoads, because I thought J-Dub City, shout out to him, he kept putting up this meme of the Battletoad game. And I thought it was a cartoon. I said, this is like some cartoon from 1985 that I used to watch. And he said, no, that's the Battletoads game. And I'm like, you gotta be effing kidding me. No game looks like this. I mean, they can't, this can't be. It can't be. It can't end like this. And when I saw that that's what they were coming out with, albeit it's going to be in 4K, I'm sure, hell, it may be in 8K on the Series X. I'm like, I can't do it. So, Spider-Man 2 for you. Yeah, well, again, I certainly, that's going to be, I'm sure that'll be a good one too. I'm looking forward to all of it. But it's silly for me I'm not going to dwell on that console because where we have the specs and things like that, I'm not seeing anything running in real time. It's great that you tell me that, we get the SSD to run at 0.8 seconds. Okay, fine, with loading games, but I need to see that. And that's fine that you say that, but I'm not going to take that to the bank. I'm not going to go shoot that rocket until I see you do it in real time, period. Okay. Now, I know Sony may be having some issues because of what's going on in the world. And what's going on in the world, they are talking about the United States possibly having an unemployment rate of 27%. Okay. 27%. Look, a lot of people are not going to go back to work. I'm going to work tomorrow. Okay. And again, the people who are going to work are deemed essential. And so I'm going out there risking my life to make sure some things get done. And until they call me today to say, hey, look, you don't need to come in. And I've been off since Wednesday. Okay, I went to lunch Wednesday at 1:45, and my supervisor comes in and says, hey, if you want to, you can go home. And, my limousine that I catch came at 2:15, so I just went ahead and left. So, and not only price, but the ability to get your hands on it. It doesn't matter. It could be $3.99. Okay, let's just say it's $3.99. If you can't get one, it doesn't matter that it's $3.99, right? So she got sent home from the dental surgery. Well, because dental surgery could be deemed elective. That's why. That's it. I mean, I'm not here. I mean, if you got a root canal, if you need a root canal done, that's a scheduled case. You may have to go in for that. But if you're just going in and get your teeth cleaned, they'll say, well, that's elective, and we're not going to do it. So you wouldn't mind if both consoles were delayed a year. I'm not here saying they will be. I'm not saying they will be delayed. I'm saying you might have issues getting your hands on one. There's a difference in that. I'm talking about the supply. Okay? Now, let me make this clear. Where in China, where the consoles are, where a lot of it is made and manufactured, where a lot, it's going to be assembled, I should say, they haven't had any cases there for like 4 days. So that's good. So if things can pick up by, late April, May, that's fine. I think that's great. So you're a porter at the hospital. Okay, I've done that before. I was doing other things with it. I was like the porter and the floor tech and all that kind of stuff. So, so yeah, I've done that before, bro. So you wouldn't want to be a dentist looking into someone's mouth. Well, when you get that paycheck, you may change your mind. So, but that's the game I'm looking at. Yeah, and Gran Turismo, I agree. G-Hole, I remember that game. So I remember that. So, but guys, again, at the end of the day, just don't argue with people that believe their own lies. This is a group of people that when AMD came out, I mean, they've been look, they've been talking specs since 2015. They've been unhappy since 2015. So maybe now, and the fact that they've totally tapped out on Xbox X, they don't even talk about the X anymore. Okay, they don't talk about it. And so, I mean, the fact that that has actually happened just shows you what an epic fail it was, and people haven't gotten rid of it. They just haven't changed they just changed the test requirement. Oh, that's fine. No. that is fine. That's why I said late April. You know, hopefully by late April this thing starts to clear itself out. So you know, because in my state at Friday it was 70 degrees at 7 o'clock in the morning. It was 70 degrees. Okay, the very next day, 24 hours later, it it was 43 degrees at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's not helpful. That's not helpful if you just have a regular code. People are just going to get regular codes now. So they reopen cinemas is PR spin. Well, I'm not saying they haven't done it. That's the whole point. Maybe they have. I mean, I'm not there. So, I mean, but hopefully that's what happened. I mean, hopefully we can actually go and start getting our hair cut again. I mean, that's pathetic that you can't go get a haircut even though they practice aseptic technique. Um, you know, they do. That's why they wash their hands and they spray their clippers, and that's part of asepsis. So, um, but yeah, guys, just and again, I'm not. Just don't argue with them anymore. Yeah, Xbox Series X, just like Xbox X, that's what Xbox One X is more powerful. Okay, PlayStation is faster. If you're going to talk about the PlayStation, just talk about how fast you think it's going to be. Hey, ask somebody, hey, look, if you talk to anybody on how fast you think the PlayStation 5 will be, shout out to you, Arnold. I appreciate it. I also want to give Arnold Williams just subscribe. Shout out to you, brother. All right, thanks for joining us, man. Hopefully enjoy the content. There's another guy online. Shout out to this young brother, Marlin Gaming Media. He was literally, and I'm going to disagree with something he was doing. This is not to call him out or nothing like that. I'm just trying to start no war with him. He was literally saying the other day not to buy a Series X and just to go ahead and keep your Xbox One X because all the games are going to work anyway. Now, if that's all right, let me make this clear. That's the way I interpreted what he was saying. So if that's what he is saying, let me make that clear. That's the way I'm interpreting it. So if that's what he meant by what he was saying, I totally disagree. If you want to go out and buy 50 Series X's, go ahead and do it. Okay? If you want to buy 50 Series X's, go ahead and do it. All right? If you don't want to buy any, don't buy any. But, I mean, again, buy what you want. Okay? Buy what you want. All right? Enjoy what you got. And but don't argue with people who believe their own lies. And with that said, I am going to get on off of here. I do appreciate you all coming. I'm going to get back into playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've got the costume. So if you want native 4K 60, you should get Xbox Series X or a good PC. Well, again, yeah. I mean, I think both the consoles will be able to do 4K 60 on some of the games. Okay, but it's totally up to the developers, and I'm looking forward to everybody who goes out and buys one. I hope you like it, and everybody just enjoy them. So PS5 had the best mix of multi-plats and exclusives. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. We got that right now. Nothing will change. Nothing will change. But do not understand when you say that something is faster. They're looking at it like, oh, you're trying to say it's more powerful. It's like, no, it's faster. It's faster. That's it. That is it. So what are you expecting with the speed? Ask people that. Hey, do you think we'll be able to, these games that like an Assassin's Creed Odyssey that has those load times, do you think they'll be able to get rid of those? Possibly. We'll have to wait and see. Everything will be seamless. We'll have to wait and see. We have to wait for some real world tests. Okay, Ubisoft got a dev kit. They got a dev kit. IO Entertainment got a dev kit. EA has a dev kit. So let's have to wait and see. But that's it. And shout out to I left links for the Brat podcast he did with Optimus Code. I left a link in the description for NX Gamer breaking down the PlayStation 5 tech if you want another look at it and you can't stand Mark Cerny's voice. And I put another link for Zaddy pretty much saying that Resident Evil runs like crap on the Xbox X. So again, guys, just keep it gamey, and do not argue with people who believe. Did you watch that Moore's Law video on the PS5? Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that was a good one too, and I agree with him 1,000%. Sony's messaging, I understand that this is not the consumer rollout of that product. I understand that. The problem is you had a group of fanboys come out and say, hey, look, uh, this is the rollout. This is the road to the PS5. It should not. That is Sony's fault. Okay, that is Sony's fault. So Sony's gonna have to do another press conference, more in tune to what the consumer wants, which is a price, which is actually see some games running, and to and just say, hey, look, here's price, games running, and here's what we're going to be able to do with the platform, with what we're bringing out. Here's what we've been working on with the developers, and then show a game running from Ubisoft, show a game running from Insomniac, show a game running from Naughty Dog, show a PS5 game, show 2 PS5 games that are only going to be on the PS5 because of the SSD. Then show us some of the games that they claim are getting a bump, if you want to call it that, a boost, a bump. Show us that. Show us that. Say, hey, Spider-Man was 4K through temporal injection, and now it won't. Now Insomniac won't have to use that technique unless they want to, because we can now get Spider-Man to go at 4K native. I'm just putting that out there. Something like that. But all right then, guys. And Gran Turismo. They'll say Gran Turismo was 1800p checkerboarded to 4K, and with the bump that we got now, GT Sport is 4K running at 60 frames a second. But maybe Poly gets GT7 to run at 1440p, 120 frames per second. I mean, I don't know. Let's just see it. We'll get there. We'll get there. So, but all right then, guys. Great plan for XSX, since they need this gen over ASAP. Yeah, I have no problem with what Microsoft is doing. I've said that, I don't know how many, I've said that 1,000 times. I got no issue with Microsoft is doing. I'm not buying it. I mean, I'm not going to buy their platform anymore. I'm done with it. I did my thing with it. I had a great time. My favorite game series I played on the 360, which is the Mass Effect series. And now I'm playing it on PC, so I'm fine with that. I'm good. I'm happy. I had great times with Fallout 3. I had great times with Skyrim and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Skyrim, and then the other one, Sugar Free, that came out, Oblivion. I had great times on my 360. So I mean, I'm good. I'm good. I think GT7 will be 1440. It could be. Again, we'll wait and see on competitive. But all right then, guys. I'm going to get on off here. I will talk to you later.